Accident involving an SUV and a C-Tran bus that crashed into a house in Elmira. We'll have an update on the driver and what happened.
And partly cloudy skies likely tonight with temperatures dropping into the lower teens.
Plus, we're going to hear from the commissioner of the PBLA after box lacrosse was halted league-wide, including Elmira. We're going to tell you why. WENY News at 6 starts right now.
From across the Twin Tiers, this is WENY News at 6.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for WENY News at 6. I'm Renata Steele.
And I'm Nick Quattrini. Well, starting with weather, it's been a chilly day all across the region. Temperatures into the 20s.
WENY Chief Meteorologist Joe Veras is here to let us know if we can expect any warmer conditions for tomorrow. Joe?
Well, I think temperatures tomorrow very similar to where we were this afternoon. We're looking at highs generally in the upper 20s, so we will have a mixture of sun and clouds once again, so at least we'll be on the dry side. But then a push up with those temperatures on Thursday thanks to a southwesterly wind. I think by Thursday afternoon, we're in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. And then we get that Arctic cold front to follow with a bitterly cold sweep of air coming our way going into Friday morning. This is what we're tracking at this hour, though. Just some scattered clouds out there and some light flurries or snow showers over the southern Finger Lakes area to the north and east of Elmira. There's also a storm system here down over the Mississippi Valley. That'll tend to push over towards the mid-Atlantic coast through the overnight period tonight. Some of the cloud cover out ahead of that system now pushing into the southern tier of Pennsylvania. That storm system likely to pass by to our south overnight tonight. So again, not much going on in terms of precipitation this evening other than those scattered flurries up towards Tompkins County and Cortland County. Temperatures in the process of dropping back through the teens. Some of the colder spots could actually end up in the upper single digits overnight tonight. We're already down to 17 in Westfield, 22 in Bath, 20 the current temperature in Ridgebury. We're sitting at 21 in Elmira, but feeling like 12 when you factor in the breeze out of the north. So for tomorrow, we'll have to layer up once again. At least we'll have some sunshine out there, but temperatures will stay below the freezing mark for highs. We'll track the Arctic cold front headed our way for early Friday coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Joe. We have an update to a story that we first told you about yesterday involving a transit bus and an SUV, an accident that happened in Elmira. A Chemung County Transit driver is in stable condition at Robert Packer Hospital with a head injury after the bus he was driving was hit by a Jeep yesterday in Elmira. Police say that the Jeep was traveling south on Euclid Ave and failed to stop at the stop sign, which then that SUV, police say, hit the bus, which then caused the bus to hit a nearby house. The driver of the Jeep was treated at the scene and brought to Arnott Ogden with minor injuries and has since been released. According to EPD, there were no passengers on the bus at the time of the crash.
Well, it's a time of year when the cold weather, early nights, and cloudy days can really affect some people's mental health.
WENY's Deshaun Robinson spoke with a psychologist about seasonal depression and what you can do to mitigate the effects of it.
Seasonal depression is really just a type of depressive episode or pattern of depression. So you can have depression that occurs from the fall to winter onset. So that would be a winter depression. You can also see depression occur or a depressive episode occur as you're transitioning from spring to summer.
Guthrie psychologist Daniel Terry explains engaging in simple daily activities that you normally enjoy can be very helpful with reducing the effects of seasonal depression.
Getting outside for a walk, being outside, walking inside at this type of season, spending time socializing. So anything that's going to be more active gives you an opportunity to feel better. Because if we go home and we hibernate and we stay in our house and we don't do anything, we don't even have the opportunity to feel better. We just have the opportunity to hibernate.
Dr. Terry said that many people dealing with seasonal depression have trouble finding the motivation, but she said that this is a key step to moving past it, and getting yourself going can help improve your symptoms.
Psychologytools.com is a place where you can get some free resources. There are also, for people who are just struggling with activity, there's a lot of good apps out there that will help folks just engage with different activities and keep track of what they're doing to help them feel more accomplished, perhaps.
If you are experiencing symptoms of seasonal depression, there are many resources available. And if you are having feelings of suicide, you can call the Lifeline at 988. Dejon Robinson, WNY News.
Last Thursday, the FDA proposed a yearly COVID shot to match future strains. Similar to the once-a-year flu shot, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, the COVID shot, may need additional adjustments. Dr. Nistico from Arnett Health, he shared the importance and similarities of an annual vaccine and how it could still be at play with the COVID-19 shot.
The idea behind it is that we would have a similar situation to influenza vaccine where people would get a yearly vaccination to try to propel us through very difficult months with infection. The most important people to get these vaccines really are those who are older and those who have medical conditions.
The FDA has not made any decision from last week's proposal. The timeline for a panel decision remains undetermined. In 2023, the original 2020 COVID strain is still in circulation with the new booster strains. However, several members do feel on that FDA board, they do feel, quote, apprehensive as the virus is continually changing. The timeline for a panel decision remains undetermined. We'll keep you updated.
A ministry in Corning is returning, providing the elderly in nursing homes a way to go to church when they can't go in person. All Saints Parish announced last year that the visitation ministry was returning to the community after COVID previously halted all ministry services. But having it back up and running allows the elderly who are homebound in nursing homes or in assisted living to receive in-person communion, confessions, and other religious outreach. Volunteer Minister Catherine Gronsky says the tool keeps elderly who use it engaged and helps support their spiritual needs.
And then it's a hands-on, training after they pass all requirements. And it is a blessing. It is an indulgence. And it's one way to get closer to Christ. COVID did a disservice to this ministry because we had to stop all ministries, and the nursing homes, especially the nursing homes and the hospital, closed the ministry to all the residents or the ill.
Now, All Saints Parish says they need more volunteers. They do have a handful already providing this outreach. People looking to volunteer are required, though, to follow all CDC guidelines at places like nursing homes, hospitals, and skilled facilities to ensure everyone stays healthy. People who would like to help with the ministry and volunteer can find out how to sign up on our website, WENY.com. Well, according to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, the state's licensing, permitting, and certification processes are going to be quicker and more efficient. The improvements come as Shapiro signed another executive order today, his third as governor.
WENY State Capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon joins us live to tell us more about it. Brendan?
Renata and Nick, good evening. Well, it's good news for many different barbers, nurses, cosmetologists, and many others who, according to the governor, are now going to see a more streamlined and more reliable licensing process here in the Commonwealth. Shapiro says today's order will reduce wait times while also holding state agencies accountable.
Another executive order in the books for Governor Josh Shapiro, this one his third since his inauguration 2 weeks ago. This order ramps up response time from state agencies and holds them accountable for delays.
With this new executive order, these things don't happen.
Elizabeth Strong is a cosmetologist from Allentown who ran into roadblocks after opening a new salon. She sent paperwork and a check to the state for her inspection and license, but found herself in a difficult situation after the state said they never received her check and ultimately tried to double her fee.
These are big dreams. These are people's lives on the line here, and we're kind of at the mercy of our state licensing.
Over 300,000 licensees in Pennsylvania are nurses.
We need more nurses at the bedside, and we need more nurses to stay at the bedside.
Maureen May says red tape is also contributing to the frontline labor shortage.
What we don't need is more red tape.
We cannot have nurses kept off the job because of paperwork delays.
Shapiro says with the new order, Pennsylvanians can expect faster, more efficient customer service.
We are going to give Pennsylvanians certainty and speed.
Within 90 days, agencies will have to review all licenses, certificates, and permits to recommend a time-certain response for every application. Shapiro says his office will then put a firm timeline in place for each and every application to hold agencies accountable.
If an agency does not respond to an applicant on time, the agency will be required, under my executive order, to refund that Pennsylvanian's application fee.
And the governor says that every permit and application will still be vetted with a very careful eye, adding that public health, safety, and the environment are paramount. The Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs oversees about 130 different types of licenses for professionals and facilities. Each year they process over 80,000 new license applications and more than 375,000 license renewals. Reporting live at the Pennsylvania State Capitol for WENY News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Renata and Nick, back to you.
Well, law enforcement is taking more action after the beating and death of Tyree Nichols in Memphis. Still ahead, we'll tell you about more charges that could be on the way.
And we have a recall to tell you about involving soup. We're going to tell you what you need to know coming up later in the show.
And as we flip the calendar tomorrow and head into February, I'll let you know if we can expect any changes in our weather pattern. That coming up right after the break. But first, let's step outside, take a live look at our Crystal City Sky Cam overlooking Market Street in downtown Corning. You're watching WENY News at 6.
From WENY News, this is First Warning Weather.
Welcome back. We're looking at some dry conditions across the Twin Tiers this evening. Some chilly temperatures as well. Many areas in the lower 20s or even into the teens already. And we'll eventually bottom out in the upper single digits and lower teens here by early tomorrow morning. Let's take a look back now at our January weather recap. And temperature-wise, well, you can clearly see that most days this month were above average with our high temperatures. There were only 4 days of below average high temperatures, one of those being today. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to pay the price with some bitterly cold temperatures, at least briefly, pushing in our region. Now, tomorrow, very similar to what we had today, upper 20s. We're close to 40 on Thursday, but then temperatures come plummeting down here going into Friday with a high temperature of only 12. Going to feel a lot colder when you factor in the winds. Only 20 for a high on Saturday, but we do get back up to the lower 40s as early as Sunday, so that bitterly cold Arctic air not going to stick around for very long. We're looking at teens and lower 20s right now. Storm system down over the mid-Mississippi River Valley with a lot of ice going on towards the Memphis area, Nashville, and eventually up into the Ohio Valley overnight tonight. That's going to make a beeline towards the mid-Atlantic coast. Should pass by to our south. We're just looking at scattered clouds locally here in the Twin Tiers. There have been a couple flurries over the southern Finger Lakes area, but they are currently diminishing. Dry conditions expected tomorrow. Still on the chilly side with highs in the upper 20s, but at least we're looking dry, and we'll have some sunshine around, courtesy of this area of high pressure. Here comes that Arctic cold front, though, bearing down on the region as we go through Thursday night and into early Friday, and we're going to see temperatures plummet. So 39 our forecast high on Thursday, but only 12 for a high temperature on Friday. Looks like the worst of the cold will be done with as we go into the weekend. Still bitterly cold on Saturday, but the worst of the cold by then will be up into New England. And again, by Sunday, looking at high temperatures in the lower 40s. So again, that Arctic air will be rather short-lived, but brutally cold weather headed our way Friday and into Saturday. Some of the wind chills at that time could approach 20 below zero. 12 is where we're headed tonight under partly cloudy skies, up to 29 for our 5-degree guarantee tomorrow. Groundhog Day on Thursday looks dry with highs in the upper 30s. Bitterly cold Friday and Saturday, and then some warmer conditions will follow with mainly dry weather going into early next week.
Joe, thank you. Well, the names of additional Memphis City personnel at the scene where Tyree Nichols was brutally beaten have now been released.
5 former police officers are already charged with second-degree murder, and the legal action may not end there. Elise Preston reports.
The Shelby County District Attorney indicated more charges could be filed as the investigation into the police beating of Tyree Nichols unfolds. 5 former officers are already charged with second-degree murder. 2 officers, one of them Preston Hemphill, were relieved of their duties pending investigation. This is Hemphill's body cam from the initial traffic stop. After Nichols ran away, Hemphill could be heard saying this.
I hope they stop his.
Hemphill was not present at the second scene where the beating occurred, but other first responders were. The Memphis Fire Department announced it fired 2 paramedics and a lieutenant for not following policies and protocols. Video shows Nichols was not given medical attention for several crucial minutes. He died 3 days later. The Memphis Police Department, along with many others nationwide, have duty to intervene policies requiring officers to stop colleagues from bad actions.
Often in situations like this, if you intervene, then you may be seen as someone who is not part of the team.
There were also no police department supervisors present at the scene.
Everything that could go wrong seems to have gone wrong in this circumstance.
Nichols' family and attorneys are holding a news conference to address the latest developments this evening before laying him to rest on Wednesday. Elise Preston, CBS News, Memphis.
Well, a popular soup brand is facing a recall. We'll tell you how a labeling mistake is forcing the recall of some slow-simmered soups.
But first, here's a look at how stocks ended the day.
Well, if you have an egg allergy and you eat Rayo soup, you might want to check your pantry. Certain 16-ounce jars of the company's made-for-home slow-simmered soup are being recalled. The affected jars are labeled chicken and gnocchi, but actually contain vegetable minestrone, and that flavor has egg in it. Now, the minestrone soup shouldn't be too hard to spot since it is dark red. The affected jars have a Best By date of November 15th, 2024. They were sold in grocery stores across the country between December 8th and January 27th. Well, coming up in sports, we'll hear from the commissioner of the Professional Box Lacrosse Association, Steve Donner, after the league announced it's suspending its inaugural season.
You're watching WENY News at 6. We'll be right back.
Well, the Professional Box Lacrosse Association, which includes the Elmira Renegades at First Arena, announced today it is halting its inaugural season. Now, the league says season ticket holders will be contacted and will receive a full refund for the duration of the season. In a press release today, owner Carmen Kesner said, quote, "Our vision is to implement a fast, physical, safe, and exciting experience for our fans and players. We believe we have been able to create the experience, but we feel there are elements we need to improve upon. For that reason, we are halting the season to reorganize the league and team operations." Now, the PBLA also announced the appointment of Brett Bryant as new Chief Executive Officer. And the league was introduced in July of 2022 and just began the season at the end of December with 9 teams. And the teams played just about 4 to 5 games before today's announcement. Now, on Monday, Commissioner of the PBLA and operator of First Arena, Steve Donner, notified fans on Facebook that the main funding source for the league was discontinued. And we spoke with Donner today, and he explained the current situation as they work to find a solution, and he's still hopeful for the possibility to be able to return to play this season.
There's been a groundswell of support and emotion not to let this thing die for this year. And I really want to point out it's not an Elmira thing, because Elmira's been one of the bright spots of the league, and our finances here and the crowd support, it's probably one of the best in the league. So it's not an Elmira thing. It's a national funding source for the league that has sort of committed over a number of years and has run into some financial difficulty of their own. And I don't want to knock them because they've invested a lot of money in the league also. I think we're all working on solutions long term, and I haven't given up hope that there might be a solution that still allows us to salvage, this season or parts of the season. The likely outcome, if we're successful to save it, might mean in a couple extra home games, for our fans because of our fan support. So if they could just hang in there, let things sort themselves out. And this is not, lacrosse is not done in Elmira or around the country. It's just a matter of if it's done for this season.
All right, well, switching gears, NASCAR has announced some rules modifications for the 2023 season. One is notable for Watkins Glen International. NASCAR is eliminating stage breaks for Cup Series road courses. Stage points will still be awarded after the final lap of each stage, but the green checkered flag will not be displayed and there will be no caution period to interrupt the action. And NASCAR says this change comes in hopes of encouraging and improving pit strategies. Now, some other notable changes include a detached wheel penalty, wet tires available for damp conditions at select oval courses, and the points requirement for playoff eligibility has been removed. And NASCAR's Go Bowling at the Glen weekend at WGI is set for August 18th through the 20th. And Joel, I'll have one last look at that weather after the break. You're watching WENY News at 6.
All right, Joe, what's going on out there?
Not too much weather-wise, just some partly cloudy skies this evening, so no precipitation nearby. It should remain that way through the overnight period. A storm system does pass by to our south overnight tonight, but again, should see minimal impacts locally here in the Twin Tiers. It's going to be cold. It's already chilly out there right now, but we could dip down to the upper single digits and lower teens for low temperatures for tonight. Now, as we go through the day tomorrow, after the chilly start, similar to where we were this afternoon. Look for a 5-degree guarantee of 29. A little bit warmer here for Thursday, but then sharply colder for Friday and Saturday. After that, though, temperatures kind of respond nicely. 42 on Sunday, 36 on Monday, and 43 on Tuesday. The only chance for snow out of the next 7 days will be Friday as that Arctic front moves through. Accumulation should be under an inch.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back tonight for WENY News at 11. And of course, you can always visit us at WENY.com. Have a great night.